and after that, we'll open it up for questions, because I know you all well, not all of you, but some of you might have questions related to the amendment package that has been put out here. I don't see Mike Bruni on here. That's a question that came through. I don't see him here. We could send him a quick invite and see if he wants. So Cheryl, maybe you could send him a note in chat and see if he wanted to join. And with that, I'm going to share my screen, turn off my camera, and go through a little presentation. And then we'll open it up for questions. And I believe Alyssa is going to start the recording. There we go.
Done and done.
Share screen.
We're good to go.
And please bear with me. My laptop had a meltdown this morning, so I've got a loaner. So I'm hoping that it works properly. So are you all seeing my screen, Alyssa?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right. I will pull this over, go here. So the city of Goodyear is moving forward with the adoption of the 21 building codes, and that's all of our life safety codes as it relates to construction. And why do we adopt building codes? Why do we adopt new building codes? Why do we change it? Well, one of the reasons we change it is new technology is coming out all the time, and by adopting the new building codes, we often pick up things that many in the development community might have to go through an alternate means and methods and submit all sorts of reports and everything for us to review in order to determine whether or not it meets the intent of the code. Who benefits? Well, I believe that the development community benefits because it keeps us with the most current technology. Insurance organizations like to see that. Sometimes it can have a big impact on the insurance rates that you pay for the structures that you're building. And what does it take? Also, our community benefits because it keeps us up to date with the most modern codes, the best life safety practices that are out there. And what does it take? Well, it takes meetings like this. It takes us looking.
We lost you, Randy.
You lost me?
Yeah.
You're back. You're good.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I was saying, what does it take? It takes meetings like this. It takes putting an amendment package together. A lot of our amendments are related to administrative stuff that's specific to the city of Goodyear. I try to avoid making a lot of amendments to the code language. I've gone to many code hearings, and it takes a lot to get them where they are. And I really feel that there's a lot of intelligent people that are putting those together. So we try to keep ours to a minimum, our amendments. Why building codes? Well, here as an example, in this corner, you've got a fire taking place in the building garage, but the rest of the structure is potentially untouched at this point. So it's a safety feature. So it does provide safety. Hopefully in situations like this, if we're building in coastal areas, which we aren't here, but there's new requirements now to build these structures up on stilts so that when we do get floods and so forth, we're not losing all of the structures and we don't wind up looking like this afterwards. So we want to stay with the most current codes so that we're providing the best safety we can for our community. And it's a benefit to the city. It's a benefit to the development and contractor community and the whole community of Goodyear as a whole. And next we've got, these are the codes that we're proposing to adopt. If you've taken the time to go through the amendment package, you've been able to see that, the majority of the amendments are to this code here and this code here. The rest of them, we've pretty much left alone. We do have a number of amendments also to the International Residential Code. And, you know, those have been put together with, you know, some input from home builders organization and different organizations related to some of the things that have been brought into the code. And because we're going to the 21 and not everyone is on the 21, I wanted to keep the city of Goodyear in line with where other people are. And I believe we're going to see a lot of communities adopting the 2024. But with that, I will open it up for questions. And if I don't have an answer today, rest assured I am taking notes and I will be getting back to you with that. Any questions out there?
I believe everyone should be able to unmute if you have a question. Or you can drop it in the chat if you prefer.
Hi, this is Kelsey
Hey, Randy.
with Academy Homes. Hey, I was wondering, when are these codes going to be going into effect? Are you guys getting to that information?
Yes. So the hope is that we're going to be taking this amendment package to City Council this spring before the end of May, and we would have an effective date of July 1 of this year. And with that, and with past adoptions of the codes as well, we've allowed windows of opportunity. So if you're starting a project and you start to develop, you know, maybe a month before we go to council and get adopted, there's an option to submit an alternate means and method and continue to use that code up until the time that the new codes take effect. If you've got a large commercial project and you've already been working on design for 6 months, you know, we provide leeway there. And I will add that to the site where we put the amendments. I'll add the language that I'm proposing for that because we're taking into account, we have a lot of tract housing developments. And so we have a lot of folks that have standard residential plans. And of course, you know, they don't want to, we don't want to burden them, and we don't want to burden ourselves as well with having to review, you know, 200 sets of standard plans. So we allow a time frame to get that conversion done. So it's the effective date hopefully is July 1. And there is leeway on either side of that to potentially design to the 21 codes before adoption as an alternate means method, or continue on the 18 as an alternate means and method after the 21s have taken effect. I know there was another question out there. Someone started to speak up.
Randy, it was Jackson, and I was just going to ask you to go through the adoption timeline, which you just did.
I'm glad I could answer that question. Thanks for the question earlier. I'm not sure who asked that question, but that was a very good question. And I will provide that information at the same location where we posted the amendment package. I'll get that up early next week. I'll have that up there.
Hey, Randy, it's Jessica Perry with APS. We do have some questions about some of the code amendments. Would you prefer that we talk offline or address them here?
Well, you can ask the question here, I think would be good, because others may have the same question. And, you know, I may or may not be able to answer that right now. I will get an answer to you though. And I think I know what one of them is for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So, regarding the BESS systems, I don't have any concerns about our projects, but any PPAs that come into Goodyear, they are having the same occupancy standard as, I guess we just have concern with the occupancy for these large battery projects, as we don't anticipate any single person coming into our cabinets, as they're accessible from outside.
Okay. So are you talking about like a standalone equipment, which essentially is a battery room, like a C-tank?
I'm talking about, sorry, let me send this call to voicemail. I'm talking about like a large scale utility size lithium battery that we are concerned that will be lumped into that table 1207.5 as it applies to the outdoor cabinet style BESS systems.
Okay. Yeah, and I will take a call offline. I'll reach out to you so that I can get some more parameters around that, because yeah, there's probably room to make a judgment based on not being an enclosed structure and all. So that
Okay,
is something
perfect.
that I would
And
like
then-
to discuss further.
Okay, perfect. And then one other thing, typically our small control houses don't have the sprinkler system requirement. And we're concerned if we are constructing in a rural area that does not have those, that water infrastructure, how that will increase our costs.
Okay. You're talking about areas that may not have existing public utilities?
Correct.
Okay.
And so we can kind of talk about various sizes and other potential suppression options.
Sure. Yeah, I know we put together a policy for residential homes that are in outlying areas without public utilities, and we've made some headway on that, on putting together a set of requirements that isn't overly onerous and yet still provides a minimum level of protection. So yeah, that would have to be taken on a case by case, because clearly if we don't have a public utility source, what does that mean? Does it mean that we have to have 600,000 gallons of water in a tank somewhere, pressurized? That's something that we would have to look at that situation and determine what would be the best route for that. And again, we're talking about facilities that aren't necessarily occupied, so they're unmanned essentially. So
Yes.
there is ability in situations like that to look at what you have circumstantially and still provide a minimum level of life safety. But again, we're talking about unoccupied structures. So.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Anyone else have any questions related to the upcoming? One thing I can say is that, when we do finally get a council date to go to council, that information can be shared at the same location where we've placed the amendment package. Should anyone want to attend a council meeting and talk to anything in particular, I would encourage you, though, you can reach out to me directly, and, let's have a conversation ahead of time and, see what we can do to help alleviate concerns that you may have related to the amendment package that's going forward. Well, as long as I have a few of you online here, I'm going to take this opportunity to let you all know that the City of Goodyear is also working on a new permitting and inspection software that's really an enterprise solution, because it will tie in building safety, civil plan review, planning, our front counter, and we're going to have online payment availability, which we don't currently have in a robust fashion. So that we're moving forward on it. We're doing a lot of work on it. I've been on that project a lot. Cheryl has been filling in as our Acela implementation solutions, and so we're going to be moving that forward this fall. So there's going to be more news coming about that on our website, and we'll get it out in as many ways as we can. But I'm really excited about it because it's going to be a huge improvement for all of us, with a lot of bells and whistles that will alleviate some of the challenges that we have now with our current system. If there are no more questions at this point, I'm going to free you all up to get 32 minutes of your day back. I do appreciate you coming and listening in, and we'll be posting more information at the same location where the amendments are at now, the proposed amendments. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and happy Easter to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.